Hello, greetings, and hi, thank you for tuning in, and it's great to have you with us. Recently, I presented the idea in a video and suggested to Flo that quick detailers with sealing properties are probably the best type of sealant for most of us. If you haven't seen this video yet, I'll link it for you up here again. Feel free to check it out, as we will often refer to what I mentioned there in this video. And we will now focus much more on two specific products. Actually, it's not two. There are two different variants of the same product. And you know how much I personally struggle to label a product as the best in any category, because realistically, the car care market is just gigantic, and there are so many fantastic and well-functioning products. But if there is a product in the category of quick detailers with sealing properties that I would say comes very, very close to being a perfect product, it is the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer. And before I show you in this video or try to show you why this is such a fantastic product for me, let's first take a quick look at what it actually is. We can keep this relatively short because thanks to the first video and the video title, you already know what it's about. This is a quick detailer with sealing properties. That means I don't need to tell you what the product is fundamentally supposed to do or be able to do. What is much more important for you to know is that there are two different versions here, which are identical in content. They have the same properties. It's just a different color. It was designed this way to cater to him and her, even if that is a bit cliched. Even the scent is the same in both variants, so they are really just different colors. What is also worth knowing is that there are occasionally special editions of the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer. They are not always identical. Sometimes they are a bit enhanced or boosted, meaning the sealing properties are a little stronger. Sometimes they have a different color, and sometimes they have a different scent. The fundamental properties of the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer always remain. What is certainly important for most of you is the price. And it must be clearly stated that this is not a cheap product, at least not here in Germany, as the 500 ml bottle costs 16. So we are at over 30 euros for the L. And the 5-liter canister still costs $73. That means even if we get the 5-liter canister, we are still over $10 for the liter. And one cannot and should not sugarcoat this. It is a relatively expensive product, but in my opinion it also offers absolutely fantastic properties, and we will discuss those now. Before we start using the Rapid Detailer, I want to emphasize that in my opinion, quick detailers are best suited for removing light dirt from the car. I'm talking about things like dust, fingerprints, and maybe some light water spots. The safer option will always be a complete hand wash, meaning a proper pre-wash, a contact wash, and then the car is clean in the safest possible way. Or one would have to consider something like a rinseless or waterless wash, which in German is referred to as a dry wash. This is also safer when it comes to heavier soiling. But I will repeat it again. When we talk about quick detailers, we are always referring to maximum light dirt that we can still remove or should remove. And we will take a quick look at the car to see what I specifically mean by that. We have a few water spots here because the car was parked in the rain. That means I will remove them with the product right away. We have a few lightly superficial insect residues on the windshield. We have a very light layer of dust on the rest of the car, and that is what I mean when I talk about light soiling. Now we can start with the application. And that brings us to the point that, in my opinion, is by far the best aspect of the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer, which is the application. I always use two cloths, one with a short pile and one with a long pile. I use the short pile cloth to apply the quick detailer and pick up the light dirt. Then I wipe again with the long pile cloth to remove any remaining residues. Although we will soon see that this is almost unnecessary for the product, I am using the pink one here because it matches the Mini better in color. Or no, I will use the blue one because it matches my sweater better. It's that simple. As mentioned, the products are identical in content. It's always good to shake these products. And then there are two variants. Either we spray the quick detailer onto the paint here, and then wipe it off with the cloth. Very, very pleasant, but also typical scent for a quick detailer, sweet like candy. I can't define it more precisely at the moment because I am still suffering from the after effects of a COVID infection, which means a loss or impairment of my sense of smell. Unfortunately, that's how it is. You saw it, I sprayed it directly on the paint. You saw how it misted extremely fine. Very, very good spray head that is on here, which also harmonizes wonderfully with the consistency of the product. First time going over it with the short pile cloth. Then, a general tip. Wait a moment. Many quick detailers, including this one, start to evaporate on their own, if you give them a little time. We will see that shortly. I will show you in a close-up. Now, I take a plush towel and simply wipe over it again to remove any remaining residues. And I notice that an absolutely stunning paint smoothness is already developing. This is one of the smoothest products I know and have ever tried or tested. Absolutely fantastic. Check it out. Wonderful. But the much more important aspect is this incredibly simple, quick, hassle-free, and streak-free application. There are other products in this category of quick detailers with sealing properties that are also good. And above all, there are products that darken more strongly or create a nicer, stronger color refresh. In this regard, the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer is not good. Where it is truly exceptional is in this processing. Because honestly, not many other products come close to this. And we will take a look at that together now. The smarter option, rather than spraying it directly onto the paint, is to spray it onto the cloth. But to simply show you that, just like before, it doesn't matter whether I spray it on the paint or onto the cloth with this product. Now I wipe over the paint with the short pile microfiber cloth as mentioned and distribute the product, so to speak. Pick up the light dirt. And then I believe you can see it quite well on the camera. Yes. Do you see these very light streaks? Everywhere. Can you see it well? Yes, you can see it quite well up there too. Look. Now we give the product a few seconds, because then it will start to ventilate wonderfully on its own. And now I take the high pile cloth, wipe over it a few times right here at the top, and I think you can see it already, right? Can you see it on the card? Yes. Look away. Wonderful. And now I just wipe over it a few times. And that's it. And that is really, can you see that? Yes, look, I have a little video guest here who also can't find any grip on the paint smoothness. You can already see how wonderfully this works. So now we also have something on the windshield that we can take a look at, namely a few streaks from the windshield washer fluid and some insect residues. And we will just see how well Infinity Wax does this. Now, a very important point. Basically, I would recommend using a glass cleaner on the windshield at all times, because firstly, they generally clean a bit better. And secondly, I have to be completely honest, I am quite impressed with the cleaning performance. You have to rub a bit on the insects, but it works really well. Crazy, I didn't expect that. Wow. Secondly, what did I want to say? Regarding streaks and also wiper chatter, if we use a quick detailer with sealing properties, it may cause the wipers to chatter or result in streaks. If you are at a meeting or out and about in the summer and you know you don't need to use the windshield wipers, my goodness, then you can also use a quick detailer on the windshield. Above all, you can already see how wonderfully it starts to ventilate on its own again, and how great the streaks are disappearing here with the high pile cloth. Absolutely impressive. But this risk of having streaks when we use the windshield wipers does exist. As I said, I personally would recommend that you always use a glass cleaner on the windshield. But as you just saw, it works very well on the windshield too. And I can't really tell you much more about the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer because, as mentioned before, feel free to check out the introductory video on this whole topic. That means quick detailer with sealing properties, because I especially told you why I consider this to be such great products for most of you. What I can tell you is, as mentioned, the scent is sweet, definitely sweeter than others. The most important thing I have already told you is that, in my view, the processing is absolutely problem-free and streak-free. And in this category, the quick detailer with sealing properties is among the best in that regard. The paint smoothness is extremely pronounced. But, and this is something I always tell you again and again, You already know the saying, all car care products come with compromises. Due to the simple and hassle-free application, especially streak-free, it does not darken as much as others. For example, the Sonax Ceramic Quick Detailer or the One Wax Quick One performs better in terms of darkening. We will take a look at the topic of hydrophobia together shortly, because in my opinion it is good, if not very good. Basically, it means 2001. When someone absolutely wants to apply a different type of sealant on a car that is already sealed, or if they have sealed their car with a sealant that is very hydrophobic and now, for some reason, they absolutely want to use a quick detailer or use something else after every wash. A push? Personally, I don't believe in it. End of the insert. Then I consider this to be a very suitable product to use for that. And what I've also noticed is that it is very, very effective at removing light, superficial water spots. I'll show you that here now. I believe you can see these water spots very, very well everywhere. And now let's see how and if the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer removes it. Yes, and you have already seen it. Amazing. So I basically just have to wipe over it once or twice with the cloth, and that's it for those water spots. However, we need to keep things in perspective here. We're talking about this. I mean, you can also see this absolutely hassle-free, streak-free application. One must keep things in perspective, as those were just superficial water spots. Those that might be on the car for a day or two and not baked into the paint yet. If they have been on for a longer time and start to work their way into the clear coat, then we need a stronger product. We need an acidic water spot remover. And if they have been on for a really long time and had the chance to embed themselves into the paint, then in the end, we would also have to polish. But for light, superficial water spots, as you can see, the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer works wonderfully. I personally find two topics regarding quick detailers to be very, very difficult. On one hand, there is the durability. And on the other hand, there is the cleaning performance. Now, if you have stronger dirt, we are still talking about light soiling here. This is just dust that is on it. If we have a bit more dust down here, I really like to spray it on, and especially to apply it thicker so that we have enough lubricating effect when we wipe the cloth over the paint, and so that we have enough product to generate cleaning performance with the surfactants that are in a quick detailer. That's one thing. Now, the cleaning performance is practically impossible for us to compare objectively and verifiably between individual quick detailers without a laboratory. It's really almost not feasible for us. And I am convinced that the majority of the cleaning performance, which insects apparently like the scent of, comes from the cloth and not necessarily from the quick detailer. It's a difficult topic, so I won't go into it too much. I find that for a quick detailer and for the purpose it is made for, it cleans well, and I will leave it at that. Topic of dwell time. Anyone who asks about the dwell time of a quick detailer hasn't understood something from my perspective, because the only correct objective, ho, it is so absolutely fascinating. There is such an unbelievably beautiful paint smoothness that sets in, and you can't imagine how truly pleasant it is to work with a product that is so easy to use. No question. There are other very good quick detailers, and especially there are some that create an even stronger hydrophobia and darken even more. But they almost always have the problem that you need to work a bit more carefully. You might have to wipe with the cloth 1 or 2 more times until you really catch everything and have no streaks. But the Infinity Wax is so pleasant and so easy because of this stunning paint smoothness. It has fascinated me so much because it is so easy and hassle-free to use, and it leaves no streaks. It is such a pleasant product, and that is one of the reasons why I love it so much. So now I've completely digressed. What was I going to say? Dwell time. The only correct answer to the question about the durability of a quick detailer is until the next wash. That's what these products are made for. Why? 2001. I wash my car. I use such a product after the wash and drive it. After that, I go to the next wash, clean it, and reapply it. That's what they are made for, and it will last just as long until the next wash. A question that always comes up and is often asked when it comes to the topic of quick detailer is whether I can use Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer on films. Yes, definitely. Again, spray onto the cloth or onto the film, then spread it on the film. Process it or remove the light dirt. Then work with the long pile second cloth. And that's it. Here we even have the special case of a partial paint job. This here is film, this is film, this is paint. And you can see that it works wonderfully. Plastic. Another question. Yes, you can also use the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer without any issues. 2001. To achieve a very, very minimal and light refresh of the plastic. Above all, it provides a cleaning and a slight increase in hydrophobicity. However, when it comes to film, whether glossy or matte, as well as plastic, it works wonderfully. You can also use it on wheels, but I won't do that here because they are too dirty for me. But what I can definitely show you is that up here on the A-pillar we have a matte film, specifically a satin matte partial wrap. This here is high gloss black paint on the A-pillar. This is a matte black partial wrap. And now I can show you what actually happens with quick detailers and many other sealants on a satin matte or matte film, which is that nothing happens at all. You see, I'm wiping it down again and we still have a silky matte finish. That's what has already happened. So I just said a bit of nonsense. It's not that nothing happens. There is a color refresh, a saturation. It appears a bit darker and may seem a bit more intense and satin matte. This means it might change from matte to satin matte, but it essentially remains a matte satin matte finish. This means that you can also use the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer on matte paints and matte films. Now we have talked a lot, often and repeatedly about sealing properties in this video, and now let's take a brief look at it in terms of hydrophobia. And then we see, as soon as this first film is washed off, which is an emulsion film, is the hydrophobia. No, not as good as with a spray sealant or a good wax. But for a quick detailer that is as quick and easy to use as the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer, I personally find that honestly quite good. And there's so much more to say about Infinity Wax Rapid Detail. I'm sliding off again with my sleeve because the paint is incredibly smooth. It's just awesome. Sorry, I've drifted off again. You sand. There isn't much more to say about the product. Let's summarize briefly. It's expensive. I would even say very expensive. Especially in comparison with other products, it can't be sugar-coated. But from my perspective, it does come with absolutely fantastic features. Paint smoothness is outstandingly good. And we have seen hydrophobia, which is good, if not very good. Application is absolutely hassle-free on paint, glass, plastic, wheels, no matter which surface you can use it on. Cleaning performance, as I mentioned, is a bit difficult to assess, but I find it to be good, if not very good. I don't want to say much about the durability of a quick detailer. It will last until the next wash. But what is especially an absolutely outstanding point here is the application. There are many quick detailers with sealing properties, but none are as easy to use as Infinity Wax. There are a few others, but hardly any. However, it does have weaknesses in color refreshing where others perform better. 2001. What I have tried to do with all these quick detailers, sealing properties, and this video series is to categorize the products I show you in a grid, in the graphics, in the table, so that you can better assess which properties these products offer, which properties are important to you, and whether the respective product being discussed in the video could be one for you. And now, quite specifically, could the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer be exactly what you are looking for? 2001. At the beginning of this video, I made the relatively bold statement that this might even be the best quick detailer with sealing properties. The reason is quite simple. I mentioned to you in the introduction video for this product category that what makes this category incredibly good for most of you and us is the easy and hassle-free application. This is what I primarily expect from a quick detailer with sealed properties. And there is hardly any other product in this category that works so incredibly easy, hassle-free and streak-free, without showing significant weaknesses in all other evaluation criteria. The only thing we have to compromise on here is a strong color refreshing. And this is where I come into play and tell you that shine on a paint surface is created by a defect-free surface, which means through polishing, I am not convinced that sealant products can make a massive difference. Yes, they can on a less than perfect, non-defect-free paint, and that must be stated clearly, as there are products that work better. But the incredibly easy application combined with the good to very good hydrophobia and the stunning paint smoothness make it an absolute highlight for me in this category, even though it is an expensive product. And so hopefully now each of you can decide for yourselves whether you would like to take a look at the Infinity Wax Rapid Detailer or not. If you found the video helpful, informative, exciting, and interesting, feel free to give us a thumbs up, support the channel with a free subscription, and tune in for the next video. See you